Welcome to the Raven Report, the official podcast of Sci Tech High School. I'm your host, Colin Kerouac, and today we're diving into one of the most talked about changes at STHS, the so-called cell phone ban in class. Why was it implemented, and how are students responding? We've got a great program lined up to explore all sides of this issue. Stay tuned. First, we'll be talking with senior correspondent Aracely, who recently wrote a story about the cell phone ban. She'll give us insight into its origins and goals. Then we'll hear directly from two STHS seniors, Deanna and Benito Martinez, who will share their personal perspectives. Let's get started. Joining me now is Aracely, our senior correspondent here at the Raven Report. Aracely has been following this story closely and recently wrote an article on it.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Welcome to the show, Aracely. So I've heard you've been doing some research on this and asking around.
Why, yes, I've been doing lots of questioning towards other scholars regarding this issue.
Can you tell us what sparked the cell phone ban at STHS?
Well, from SOSA's own words, this isn't anything new. They're just now enforcing it. It's already been around.
That's what we keep hearing, but some teachers and students believe that is not the case. Why do you think that is?
Well, from what I heard, it mainly was because students were using their phones in the classroom a lot, and it interfered with education. So that's why the administration had to enforce the rules.
Okay, that's the answer to the students, but what about the teachers? Why do you think some teachers didn't understand that about this rule?
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay. In your reporting, did you find out how the administration developed this policy?
I think they've been talking with themselves. I don't think the teachers had any direct input on the situation. I think it was mainly behind the scenes.
So there was no input from students or staff?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. What are some of the goals the administration hopes to achieve by implementing this ban?
Well, obviously they aim to make it so us students are more focused in class by taking away our phones.
I mean, that makes sense. I do see a lot of kids on their phones a lot. Have you noticed any significant changes on campus since the ban took effect?
Well, now in the mornings, in every class, we're supposed to put our phones away in the backpacks and put them against a wall somewhere. That's one of the changes I've noticed.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, but there are some teachers who don't really enforce the policy, or there are some students that still get around the policy by just kind of being sneaky about it. What do you think they could do to fix that?
I'm not really sure, but I think the admin would have to deal with that personally.
Makes sense. Thanks, Aracely. Now, let's hear directly from some students about their experiences and opinions. We are now joined by two seniors, Deanna and Benito Martinez, who are here to share their thoughts on how the cell phone ban is affecting life at STHS. Welcome to the show, Deanna and Benito.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So, when you heard about this cell phone ban, what was your initial reaction?
Honestly, I was kind of surprised by it and how they were enforcing it, just because in my own experience, in most of my classes, with some few exceptions, of course, most students are pretty good about not being on their phones during instructional time, or they'll make sure they have all their classwork done before, sending a quick text or something like that.
So what about you, Benito? What was your initial reaction when you first heard about the cell phone ban?
I mean, I wasn't too surprised because every time we come back from break or any type of break, they do seem to have like a new rule, like policy that they want.
How has this policy impacted your day-to-day experience at school? Has it changed your focus or productivity in any way?
I feel it hasn't changed my focus a lot. However, because I'm in organizations such as Peer Forward or NHS, or even just like for my day-to-day classes, sometimes I'll need to check emails or send a quick text that correlate to one of those school activities. So not having my phone on me can influence my productivity with those elements.
So you think it would be better to have your phone for extracurricular activities during school time?
Yes.
I agree with that. Benito, how have other students been responding to this policy? Do you think there's more support or frustration about it?
I mean, there's definitely more frustration.
Yeah, definitely more frustration.
I mean, it's there's not going to be really support for getting your phone taken away, because I know a lot of people like to have their phone on them, and it's also some students that don't have a problem with having their phone out in class might not really like that they have to follow a rule just because it's something others have done.
Yeah. A question for both of y'all. Do you think the cell phone ban is achieving its intended goals? Why or why not?
I personally don't, because I think a lot of students are finding like workarounds, or like you said, just being sneaky about it. And I feel that just because we're enforcing it a little bit more, it's not really changing all that much. And I think it's kind of inclined students to like break the rules a bit more, because they're now being told no about something. So I think it makes them want to rebel more.
Yeah, indeed. Benito, do you think it's achieving its intended goals?
No. I mean, so there's some who are trying to be sneaky, and there's also some who just like don't care at all. They are openly just breaking the rule.
Yeah, I've noticed that in my classroom setting. Some people don't care. Some people are being sneaky about it. Yeah, I don't think it's really achieving its intended goals either. Lastly, if you had the chance to tweak or change the policy, what would you suggest?
I think I would suggest, I like the backpack thing. I think keeping your backpack somewhere could definitely improve safety. But I think a lot of students like have their phone as like a safety blanket type of thing. So just having it in their pocket just kind of makes them feel more secure, I guess. So I think if we change the policy to where if the phone becomes a distraction for an individual, then that individual should face consequences, instead of the whole entire school having a group consequence because of a few people.
Right. Don't let 5% dictate the whole school policy.
Correct.
What about you, Benito?
Any changes? Yeah. I thought of this like that it would probably be better to like have each person. So like the backpack thing, yes, it's on the walls, but each person, like let's say the teacher sees someone not able to like control like pulling out their phone or not, that they could have them not bring it to the teacher, but put it in their backpack, so like they like feel more in control because they have their phone, but they're not able to like just keep pulling it up while in the middle of class.
Right. Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Thank you, Deanna and Benito, for sharing your opinions. So the cell phone ban has sparked plenty of conversation at STHS. We heard from students and a reporter about the case. Here's what I think about it. I agree largely with the students. I do not agree with this policy. I think it should be changed. I actually do agree with what it's trying to do, but I do not agree with the way it was conducted. There are two alternative solutions I have to this. Solution number one, let students keep it on themselves, but only allow them to use it if it is an emergency. They would have to ask permission from the teacher to use it. If they used it without permission, even once, it would get taken up. Or we could tweak the policy into where you still put your cell phones in the backpack on the wall, but you designate 5 to 10 minutes for every class period for like a cell phone break. I think it would be very impactful for students. It would allow them to have a designated time to check messages, talk to their friends, play a game for a few minutes, get a brain break. Because as a student myself, I know how swamped and stressed out we all are about school. And I think it would be a nice designated time. And schools used to do that. Some teachers used to do that in this school. and we got rid of it for some reason, and I don't know why. And I think it would just help the students a lot, and then giving them that little bit of time and then putting it back up would help them focus a little more and not have as much anxiety about any notifications popping up on their phone. Thank you for listening to the Raven Report. Join us next time when we take a deep dive into the STHS STEM Fair. Which students are competing and what projects are already making waves? Stay tuned for that and more. This is Colin Kerouac, signing off from the Raven Report. Thanks for listening, and as always, stay curious, Sci Tech.